So we're going to go through the dumbbell pullover today, and I'm actually going to show you the technique without a band, and then we're going to show you one that also has a band attached from the rear. And I will say, if the band setup doesn't look like too big of a pain in the ass, you have a band readily available, and you give it a shot and you like it, that will be our default use of this movement. That band just helps us smooth out the resistance profile a little bit, gives us a little bit of tension in the short position. The exercise is still going to be hardest at the bottom, but it does give us something to do when the dumbbell's over our chest instead of it just kind of hanging, which is what you'll see in a second when I do it without the band. And so what I want you to do is I want you to grab your dumbbell, and I just want to go over quickly how I want you to hold the dumbbell. And so I'll show you real quick. This is how I want you to hold it. I want the dumbbell to hang like this, and I want it to be like this always. Even as you go back behind the head, I want that dumbbell hanging down like this. I don't want it like this where you're going back. And the way that I'm holding it is I'm actually making a diamond with my hand, overlapping like this and kind of grabbing the underside of the bell. Makes it super comfortable. It's frankly the only way to do this and have it feel even remotely comfortable. Next, what you're going to do is when you're on your way back, I'll actually show you here from the side. It's not the greatest angle when I'm doing it, is I'm actually keeping my elbows slightly bent, but I'm not bending them any more throughout the movement. It's not like a skull crusher where I'm bending at the elbow. I'm keeping a soft elbow bend, and I'm bringing my arms up over the head here, and then all the way back over the chest. So keep an eye on that as I'm doing them here. P.S. What you do with your feet doesn't really matter. 1 foot up, both feet down. For some reason, I like 1 foot up and 1 foot down. I do not know why. Gonna create that diamond, grab the top of the bell, kind of lace my fingers around it, soft bend in the elbow, and we go back behind the head here. And I really want you to go back as far as you can comfortably, please, comfortably. And you're gonna pull back up over the chest. Now, if you're not using the band, please stop right here when your arms are perpendicular. Don't go any more forward, right? And so you're gonna go back, nice and slow, soft elbow bend, big stretch, pull over the chest. Don't hang out at the top because there's no tension there. Right into the next rep. Now, that will work incredibly well if you have a band readily available and it's not logistically a pain in the ass. Here's how I want you to set that up. You can set up the band a couple of ways. I have it set up to a bar behind me at roughly the bench height, and I think that will work really well. You could attach it to like the kind of the vertical part of your rack at roughly bench height. That's gonna work really well. You could also, if you wanted to, you could put a dumbbell, I don't know if you can see me still, you could put a dumbbell down on the floor and put the band kind of underneath it, and that would still work really well. All of it's gonna be fine. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna put the dumbbell on the floor, get the band around it, but worst case, you can just keep the dumbbell up like that, and then go back, reach for it, and pull yourself into position. And then everything about the movement is the same. Big stretch on the way back, soft elbow bend. But as you pull forward, you'll see that now you have to pull against the band a little bit. And so you can pull a little bit beyond that perpendicular position. Because there's a little bit of tension there, it's worth getting a little bit more range of motion on the front end. And so, whether you're using a band or not, the technique is the same. Soft elbow bend as far back as you can go comfortably. You'll feel a big stretch in this like armpit region, a little bit of pecs, a little bit of lats for sure, a little serratus. You might even feel a little bit of abs just from that spinal flexion that can kind of come along with it. And as you're pulling back over, the elbow doesn't bend any more or less. This is purely a movement that happens at the shoulder. And so if you do have the band, I recommend a light band. The vast majority of the difficulty should come from the dumbbell weight, and this should be by far the hardest at the bottom. And as you bring the dumbbell over the chest, there's a little bit of tension, but it's by far hardest still at the bottom. And so if you find that you've added so much band tension that it's hardest here when the dumbbell's over your chest, you've done it wrong. Take away a little bit of band tension. And again, if the band is annoying, just get rid of it. The movement is totally fine with just a dumbbell. Just don't hang out in this position here, because when you are here, there's no tension, because that dumbbell is just being pulled down through gravity, through your joints, kind of stacked up like that.